Takes me back to my own excellence.
How good was that weekend? That was horny rugby league, I reckon.
Which one's at the... Oh, mate.
Both games were good, but, I mean, the Broncos.
It was so... Mate, this final series has been so frisky.
Oh, I think this is as horny as rugby league has ever been.
It's as horny as... I'd describe it as horny as.
Yeah. And horny as what?
Horny just as. You know, we just leave it at that.
Horny goatweed.
Horny as goatweed. Yeah. Horny as Raz.
You remember, what's your favourite horny animal? No, not as in sex drive, as in with a horn. I'll go first. Rhino. I think a rhino is such a majestic beast. I saw it in South Africa. And being around the presence of such a beast that at one drop of a hat it could kill you if it wanted to, but it chose not to.
The black rhino and the white rhino. Because you know the white rhino, it isn't called the white rhino because it's white. It's called the white rhino because it was a misinterpretation because it's got a wider jaw.
Oh, really? So it's supposed to be wide rhino.
Wide rhino.
And then they decided to...
White rhino.
Because actually, and we're going to get the white rhino on in a few minutes, Christian Welch, which he's known as the white rhino. He gave himself that nickname, the white rhino. Fun fact for you, Raz, because white rhinos are almost extinct. Like they're the most endangered species of rhino. And he considers the rhino an animal that is synonymous with the front rowers. And he thought that the white front rower was being endangered given that he was surrounded by mainly Polynesian front rowers. So he called himself the white rhino. Yeah. And then the boys quickly pivoted and changed that because they thought rhino's quite tough and they changed his nickname to the sea cow.
The dugong.
AKA the dugong. Yes.
How's he going since he was, inverted commas, medically retired?
Well, we'll ask him. I'm not sure. But Razman, good to have you back. This is our last preview episode. So, Raz, you know, where this leaves you, Raz, in terms of rental houses, like whether Dad's going to allow you to keep staying in the garage, I'm not sure.
Razman, you can stay in the garage.
Mate, I really appreciate that. It's been hard times, so it's been great being here.
Mate, Raz, listen, our garage door's always open. You got to.
Yeah, it doesn't lock.
It doesn't lock.
Our garage is your garage.
Yeah, that's right.
I appreciate it.
Tell you what, we did. Me and Raz on the weekend had a good time. We went down and had Japanese together because everyone was away. And geez, it was good Japanese. We had sashimi tacos.
Oh, the sashimi tacos.
Whereabouts?
Kintaro.
Oh,
you love it.
Honestly, people, if you're in Collaroy, you must go to Kintaro.
Yeah, we're really like specific to our audience. But if you ever pass into Collaroy and it doesn't take walk-in, so you make sure you book, go there. But the sashimi tacos, Raz, geez, they're good.
Yeah, unbeaten. I think the only two sort of feeds that you get at the moment are Alimentos and Kintaro. So
that's right. Just a couple of doors down, people. If you want ace pasta and pizza, go to Alimentos and say good day to old Mario for us. Good man, Mario.
Massive Manly fan.
Massive. Although particularly Gutho. Loves Gutho.
But he's not happy with some of their recruitment and retention, including
he's going to be less happy next year.
Yeah. And then we watched Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows. Have you ever watched Harry Potter, Dad?
Never seen an episode. Not interested.
It's a movie, but yeah.
Okay. Not interested.
Mate, you got to give it a chance.
Give it a go?
Yeah.
I went on the roller coaster in Universal Studios.
Get out. That's something.
That was good. Yeah.
Trust me, you won't regret giving it a chance. Nickel Clockstad. Clockstad, sorry. Bit of controversy with the grand final this week. None bigger than the 2-day advantage. You've been a big advocate on saying how big an advantage it is that Melbourne have got playing 2 days earlier. Watching that game on Sunday, Broncos versus Penrith, where do you sit with it now?
Well, Coop, it is an event. It's a significant advantage. I know Madge has done the right thing. He's come out and said, no, it's garbage. There's no advantage because of the fact that he doesn't want to go back to his players and go, and give them like they're under the pump or give Melbourne any sense that they have got an advantage. But they have. It's 2 days, not just the 2 days, Cooper, but the nature of the two games, the way that both sides went through. Melbourne played a Friday night game against Cronulla in coolish conditions down there. It was a very stop-start game. The tempo was only moderate. And you compare that to what happened on Sunday. Breakneck speed, hot conditions, against the defending premiers, 14-0 down and find a way to win. And that last 15 minutes, or last probably most of the second half, if you look at both packs, for the Broncos and the Panthers, they were gone. They were just out on their feet. You had players actually looking to the bench to be replaced. It has to be an advantage.
Yeah, and I think Melbourne would understand. They're going to. I imagine they're going to play to that advantage in a sense where they're going to try to make the game as physically hard as they can, knowing that Broncos, watching that game, knowing that Broncos are going to fatigue a little bit quicker, be a little bit sore body-wise.
When we go into the preview further, we can talk about the impact that the fatigue can have and where Melbourne can take advantage of that, but also the X factor. I want to talk about the Broncos preseason and how important that has been from them coming, like basically doing 2 miracle recoveries in their last 2 outings in the finals. 14 points down in both games.
We're going to get the Jew going on, but we're going to get him because we want to talk about the Stefano comments. At the start of this week, Stefano has come out saying he can't wait to run at some of the Broncos players because he doesn't like a few of them, thinks they're stuck up. I love to see it because you see a lot of shit talk in the media and whatnot, but I love seeing it from a front rower because he's in the middle of the field. He's in the firing. Like you see it from the spine players who have jabs at people and whatnot because they're sort of the creatives. But to see it from a bloke who Stefano is very quiet. He's a quiet by nature bloke, and he's out there calling out the Broncos pack. I do actually like it.
I do like it, and I like the fact that he's gone. Like if the Broncos are presenting themselves as stuck up, I actually like that as well because that is the old Broncos DNA. Like back in the day when you played the Broncos during their golden era of Alfie and Kevy and that, even the blokes who carried the water, even Paul Bunn, who's the recruitment manager now at Melbourne, when he was the recruitment guy at Brisbane, I used to always go, who the fuck is that bloke? And why does he think he's better than all of us?
And I will say that these are part of the Broncos DNA, like you said, because you go up to Brisbane, they are lords up there. Yeah. You walk around Brisbane City, they've got posters up of the Broncos boys.
Even when they come in last.
They think the whole of Australia has posters up of them sometimes. Even though you go to Melbourne, they don't even know who the Broncos are.
Yeah.
But they do have that swagger about him. You go up to Brisbane, you play for the Broncos, like you are a rock star in that city.
That's it. And whenever they're winning comps, that's how they present themselves. That's part of their DNA.
Stefano's probably got the hardest job on the weekend, coming up against Payne Haas. So, do anything you can to get in the guy's head and try win.
And Razman, I'm not sure if he was talking about Payne, but one thing I can guarantee is Michael Maguire will convince Payne that he was talking about him.
And I think we've got him on the line here. Not Stefano, but we do have another
his mentor.
One of his enforcing front rows, Christian Welch. How are you, buddy?
Guys, great to be on. I love hearing people talk about front rowers. Let's get going.
Mate.
We love players on minimum pay.
Yeah. Welchie, as a former hard man of the Melbourne Storm, we're in the middle of talking about Stefano's comments going after the Bronx boys. Did you love it as much as I did?
I loved it. I couldn't get enough of it. But, he's going to be up against it because old his Haas, Jesus, 80 minutes straight. He's running for all of it. And there's a reason why the white front rowers, our days are numbered, our species are dwindling. Look, because these boys, these Pacific Islander, oh my life, they're just so big and powerful. And then he's got the combination of everything. He's got the power and the endurance. It's going to be one hell of a battle. But, can't wait.
You're right. Welshie, the emergence of the Pacific Island front rowers, the fact that they've got amazing endurance, mate, even though they're about 120 kilos plus, they've got great footwork and mobility. And I looked the other day, Welshie, and I was thinking, right, who are the best middle forwards of all time? And I go, well, ones that I've seen. I mean, Arthur Beatsman, I never got to see Arthur much, very, very little as far as live football. But you go Glenn Lazarus, and then I go, right, okay, Taumalolo, Adam Fanua-Blake,
Payne
Haas,
Christian Welch,
and Welshie, of course. But you know what I mean? It's at the moment we are in the midst of the greatest era of middle forwards.
Absolutely, and for my career, it'd have to be Hargraves and Bromwich. Yeah. The 10 years they were by far the most dominant front rowers, and it's really amazing. And I think you just look at some of those. Katoa, Patonga, that's all those teams. They're just a half away from some real international success. They've always had the forward packs. They've just got to get a bit of craft in the halves, and they're laughing.
Well, I'm telling you now, I sat with with Isaiah Katoa 2 weeks ago when he was on our Sunday night show. We watched the Dogs-Panthers game. He's 21 years of age, and Welsh, he is the smartest footballer I have ever spoken to. As far as tactics and everything, mate, he blew me away. Smart. I know. I knew that. I was sitting there contemplating. Said, "Do I say this out?" but I immediately went to the blokes at Fox Sports and just said, "Mate, you've got to sign this kid." So they put him on last Friday night on the panel, like Isaiah Katoa, and he's sitting there with Cooper Cronk, Kieran Foran, and Braithen Astor. And mate, he was unbelievable. Like talking to those boys, they were shocked at how good he was. He will. This is my prediction. Isaiah Katoa will be the best player of all time when he finishes.
You say this every week on the. I know it's a big call, Welchie.
It's true,
but he says it every week.
He will be the best player of all time.
Welchie, mate, you're up in Sydney at the moment, aren't you? Coming up to cash in on your former club being in the grand final. What's on for the week for you?
Oh, just spreading the sweet word of rugby league. That's all I'm doing.
Yeah.
I'm old brother Welch down in the AFL heartland. I'm just trying to grow our beautiful game, and if I can help us grow down here, why not? But here for the mighty Storm might have helped us get a few catches. I'm unemployed in a month as well, fellas.
Yeah, that's right.
So if you know anyone.
Yeah, well, why don't you sell yourself now? Because we got a lot of people listening to this when it comes out in the morning.
Do you have a mower?
any brands, mate, you want to work with, or just anyone that you want?
Erectile dysfunction.
Sell yourself to them.
Well, I'm just struggling a bit. I was really hoping to get on a top tier podcast, maybe Kenty or Buzzers, but I don't know if you got the audience. So I don't know if I should follow, to be honest.
Oh, you son of a bitch!
I tell you what, Welsh, talking about growing the game in Melbourne. What about, was it your Jersey Flag?
Yeah,
that mate won the grand final and full of local products. It just shows you the growth of the game down there due to the Storm.
Mate, I reckon the Storm have had a good look at Penrith and just look at that nursery they've got there, and obviously how you can replenish talent pretty cheap by just developing them in your backyard, and obviously you got to do a good job at taking these 15, 16-year-olds and turning them into first graders. But that's what Penrith's been so good at. Obviously they've lost so many guys over the years, but they've brought them through. You look at guys like Lindsay Smith and a whole bunch of them, and I think the Storm are going, hey. Look, this model of bringing Queenslanders, New South Welshmen down, it works, but if we can get them on our doorstep and start producing, and particularly the huge Pacifica community down there, they're not built for AFL fields either, so they're ripe for the taking. So we just got to put a bit more resources into them, a bit more coaching and development at an earlier age, and you will start to see the fruits, I think, because it's probably not good enough, to be fair. I think we've had 5 or 6 Victorians, and I think we're 26 years old, so there's a long way to go. But I think Frank Panisi's he's really enjoying, I suppose, trying to build that out, and then having a New South Wales Cup standalone team next year. That's not cheap to do. So the club are obviously placing a big emphasis on that.
That'll come under the salary cap, you reckon, Welchie?
Yeah, I think Harvey Norman's helping them out, and they're getting the boat down to Sydney. And I was actually having a discussion the other day. Like, how many clubs have been caught cheating the cap, right, ever since? But no one, everyone hates the Storm for cheating the cap. Oh, there's been 5 or 6, right? But no one's brushed with.
You're breaking up. You're breaking up, Welshie. This is a whinge-free zone. Hey, I tell you what, though, in that Jersey Fleek side, you got a special halfback coming through. We'll hear more about him later on. Welshie, we were just on the grand final. We were just talking there about the 2 days extra recovery, and it has to be a factor, not just the 2 days, Welshie, but the nature of both games. I mean, the Broncos played that game on the Sunday. Steaming hot conditions, breakneck speed. It's got to be a factor.
Oh, I think 100%. Just the violence and the physicality of that game. It definitely was. I think up from Friday night's prelim. So I think the Storm, they'll be they'll be well rested, but they need to go to that level of the Penrith Bronx game, because I think that prelim probably was a step up. And I don't know, the Storm, they've just doing enough this year. I think they're obviously so well coached and they've got enough talent, but I just don't think they've really clicked as of yet. But they're going to be well rested, but they need to step it up, because it's the Broncos come out like that. And I think the only difference between Broncos Penrith was the week off. You could just see Penrith weathered that Storm early, and then that last 15, you could tell. I just reckon that extra game in the legs. They just lost a bit of that pop, and then, all game, the Broncos were catching, 5-10 metres out, and then they started losing that field position battle. But yeah, I think it's going to be one hell of a game.
Welchie, but before we let you go, can we get, old boy, you're a former captain of the club, medically retired this year. You're in you're going to be doing the retirement lap on grand final night. Is that right?
Yeah, no booing, please. Thanks.
Yeah, no,
you'll be okay.
Yeah, you're sure you'll be fine. But what's your predictions for the game? Hit us with it.
Ooh, predictions. I don't know. Storm, low scoring, and they're going to probably go after Welch, try and put him into the phone box, put him under pressure, and try and force some errors out of him. But, geez, he wasn't making too many errors on Sunday. But let's go Jerome Hughes, Clive, with the Webkey sending off ruck forward, scoring tries. I think he'll be our best on.
Well,
not enough has been made of Jerome. Like Webkey, it's gone down in Broncos folklore, playing the grand final with a broken arm. But he had 5 weeks. That was 5 weeks after breaking his forearm, and amazing achievement. Jerome was 22 days.
Yeah. I mean, if he imagine if he wins this weekend, they'll make a big deal out of it. But nonetheless, he's a tough man for a bloke who doesn't train or isn't really tough away from the football field.
Really?
But I think he's already pulled out a Kiwi. I think he's got to get a shoulder off as well. So I think he's banged up, the old boy. But, what a great player and a great story. You think that he played one game at the Cows, one game at the Titans, and got wristholds from both of them. And now he is a Dally M premiership player and trying to win his second one. Pretty impressive.
Certainly is, Christian. Mate, we've given you too much airtime, mate. Good luck on your event.
Where's Trish, by the way? Oh, this is the whole condition me coming on.
Nah, Trish.
Where's the head honcho?
Yeah.
Trish isn't on. We've got the Raz man here if you want to say hi to Raz.
G'day, Raz.
How are you, mate? You doing well?
Yeah, really good. All right, I'll let you get back to it.
Jeez, you can sense the love there.
Jeez, the
Good on you, Welchie.
The friction is amazing.
Sorry, Raz. All right.
That's
See you, fellas.
okay,
See you, Welchie.
Oh, what a piece of shit he is.
Let's bag him behind his back now.
It reminded me of the time. Remember when we went down to Melbourne and we watched a game at the G? It was the Swans versus Richmond.
Yeah.
Or I don't know, whatever team. We've been on the drink all day, and we went back to, I think it was Nico's or something, and Christian was there. One of our mates, Jackie P, he was so drunk, and he's not a big footy fan, so he had no idea who Christian Welch was. Yeah. He was calling him Chrissy Hemsworth all day. And then by the end of it, he was offering Christian a place to stay in our Airbnb if he needed it. And he was like, mate, I'm the captain of Queensland.
Yeah, he goes, mate, we got a spare couch. I think he thought he was just a hanger-on or a homeless mate of everyone. And he was like, mate, if you want a place. Welchie gets the Chris Hemsworth look-alike all the time.
Does he really?
All the time gets it. But then the boys sort of caught on to it. And then because girls would sometimes say to him, you look like Chris Hemsworth. And if a girl, when he was single, obviously, if a girl in a club said, oh, you look like Chris Hemsworth, he would walk her over to the table where all the boys were and say, can you repeat that? Oh, he's a funny man. He's a funny man. All right, let's get into the grand final preview. The team lists, first of all.
Yep.
Melbourne completely unchanged. As we suspected, nothing really going on there. But Broncos, Paddy Carrigan, big in, comes into lock. And they've dropped Tyson Smoothie to the bench, and Ben Talty comes out of the side, who Taltz he's been playing really well for them.
He has.
Sliding, a lot of people won't know this, Ben Talty, he was at Newcastle with Jack, mates with Jack, but he actually did the preseason at the Storm this year.
Did he?
So he did the preseason at the Storm and then played reserve grade for the North Sydney Bears. Broncos signed him out of that reserve grade side. So,
well done.
I mean, if he's going to be 18th man. Imagine if he was on the bench. And you're playing in a grand final against a team you just did a preseason with.
Great story.
It would have been a great story. Yeah.
Pat Carrigan's a big in.
Huge.
If Broncos were to win, he's a pretty good bet for Clive Churchill medal because they're going to need a big game for him because, as we said before, they're up against it after that game against Penrith on Sunday, but he's fresh. He's had 2 weeks off.
Yeah.
But he's the fresh set of legs and fresh lungs. And and he's going to need a big game. Haas needs him. Haas has carried the load of that side for quite a while, and last week Haas was monumental.
Well, a lot of people probably don't realise how busted Payne is actually playing. He doesn't really show it, but he's been injured majority of the year, and he hasn't missed as many games as he probably should have with like some knee stuff that he's had through Origin. And he hasn't done a whole heap of training on the field.
Coop, I heard out of the Origin period, there was talk that he was getting an epidural in his back of sorts to play.
He's a tough man.
Oh, mate.
He's a bloody tough man. All right, let's talk about, what about the X Factor? Because I know you've got quite a lot to say on your X Factor for this game.
Coop, and it relates to the 2 days off and how hard it's going to be, for... not how hard it's going to be for the Broncos, just how significant a factor it is. The way the Melbourne Storm play, this is going to be the ultimate test of physical and mental toughness from the Broncos. But I tell you what, and the X factor is the blood, sweat, and spew buckets that Michael Maguire produced at the start of the year. Now, he got hammered because of it, right? And people, mate, apparently, the NRL investigated when it came out. RLPA had a look at it. People were saying, that Madge's training methods were draconian. They were saying his players were off him, all that sort of stuff. Well, let's just go back. I want to tell you a little story about the history of the Broncos, which lends itself to, the price you have to pay to have success. Now, at the end of season 1991, the Broncos still hadn't won a title. And so what Wayne Bennett did, Wayne Bennett stole the strength and conditioner from the Canberra Raiders, a fellow called Kelvin Giles. Now, Kelvin Giles was like, his background was he was a physical conditioner for the Great Britain athletics side.
Yeah.
Right? So he got picked up by the Raiders. They went back to back, and Wayne obviously said, mate, we need a bit of steel. So he got him in. All he said, and he was the way Kelvin Giles trained rugby league sides revolutionised the way that we prepare footballers. It was about, mate, physical condition with an onus on power training, turning rugby league players from being, basically like middle distance runners into pure power athletes, right? But of course, you need the cardiovascular side of it as well, that hard cardio training. Mate, the only message that he said to Wayne Bennett, what do you want me to do? All Wayne said to him was, get some steel into this team. Mate, the Broncos players and the Raiders players before that talk about him. They said it was terrifying. They said, mate, the training sessions, mate, every time you got you out in the field and started doing conditioning, everyone was physically sick. He said, not only that, he said, it was Laurie Daly said, Kelvin Giles is the only man who made me physically sick in the gym. He trained them that hard, right? And, mate, like I'm talking, mate, Kelvin was merciless. And he pushed the players, beyond what they thought was their mental and physical capabilities. But guess what? They went back-to-back in 92, 93.
Yeah.
Right? And that's what it is. For success, you need to pay a price. And so for Madge handing those spew buckets on day one to the Broncos players was sending a message. Right? This is what we're going to be about. I'm going to put some steel into you blokes. If you want to have success, you've got to pay the price. So for the Broncos getting to this grand final, right, for the Broncos to have the two remarkable comebacks, 14-0 down against two quality sides, against the Raiders no less, and then the defended premiers, the Broncos. Mate, the secret of their success of winning those games sat at the bottom of that spew bucket way back in November.
Yeah.
Right? That's where it began. That was the genesis of the success that the Broncos are having.
And I don't think there's ever been a team that would have won an NRL comp who didn't train there or have an amazing preseason.
Well, that's,
right?
I mean, that's the secret of Melbourne.
Well, exactly. The secret of Melbourne, the secret of Penrith, Roosters, when they went back to back, like those teams trained incredibly hard. And a lot of people say, oh, you get to the final, you hit the right side of the draw and you fluke it and you get there and anyone can win on that night. It's not like that. Like the old saying is you do not rise to the occasion, you fall to the level of your training. And in the big games, particularly grand finals, the team that wins, it is a reflection of how hard that they have trained in the preseason and the preseason they've had.
Well, two other sports, I'll cite an example of two legends in two other sports. Mike Tyson always said, you need to train so hard that when you hop into the ring, it feels easy.
Yeah.
And Luke Longley, who's a legend of Australian basketball, who won titles with the Chicago Bulls, he said the Bulls training sessions were harder than the games because you were training against Michael Jordan, and he set the standards. And Jordan would, mate, they talk about Jordan. Jordan would play, like, it's an 82-game season before the playoffs. So you got to, you think about, where do you find the time to do your strength training and whatnot? They said Jordan would play a game and then go straight back to the hotel or back to his house and just work out, do an hour workout on the weights. Like the importance. And Uncle Joey, like Andrew, for all his partying and everything, mate, no one trained harder at Newcastle.
Yeah.
He set the standards.
Yeah, there's and even when you talk about there, like how intense the Bulls training was, given that you're training against Michael Jordan. Melbourne, when we were at Melbourne, it was a very similar intensity. Like the leaders in the NRL side would encourage the young guys who were training opposite them, don't go easy on us, because a lot of the time, sometimes in a NRL culture, they'll go, let them feel good. Let them feel good. The best sides, they don't encourage the younger players who aren't playing NRL to make them feel good. Let them, get the confidence up. It's train us like you're almost wanting to take our spot. You try to put us on show, try to out-train us, try to make us look shit in front of the coaches, because ultimately it's going to make this side a better team.
Well, in the mid-90s into the late 90s at Newcastle, one of the secrets of our success is we had a red hot. We had a tremendous reserve grade side. A number of those players ended up going winning comps at Melbourne Storm. Richard Swain, Brett Camorley,
Rodney Howe?
Robbie Ross, Rodney Howe. Paul Marquette would sort of go between first grade and reserve grade. So you had all these blokes who were just about, who were good enough to be playing first grade, but it was only because we had so much depth in the club. And you're right, Coop. We do opposed sessions on a Thursday, and mate, it was full on. It was as fast and as competitive as what you're going to do on the Sunday.
Yeah. Well, I've got stories of boys nearly punching on the field. I remember Nico Hines and Cameron Munster nearly had a punch on when, because Nico was obviously trying to break into the first grade side. He was good enough. He could have played first grade at any other club, but he had a training intensity where he was just going to kill it at training every day and try to force his way into any position. And there were days when the NRL boys would, get a bit pissed off about us putting them on show. And Nico was in the firing line, I feel, with that. There was a bit of push and shove between him and Money, both two fireheads. But that's kind of what you want.
Yeah.
Like it's what you want for your culture.
And I've just got admiration for Madge.
Yeah.
Madge has had great success. You look back at his time at the Tigers, he got into ninth a couple of times and sort of it fell away. But, my God, like the success he's had, the success lately.
Origin.
The New Zealand, beating Australia 30-0. Then he goes into Origin, has success, and then of course here we go, and it's great because we had him here in this room
this year,
chatting to him, and before he was appointed Broncos coach, and he was alluding to there's a club I'd love to go to, and I want to have success. I'm hungry for club success again.
Yeah,
here he is.
I know. In hindsight, if you haven't listened to that interview, go back and have a listen to it, because we had him on probably, I think it was about not even a month before he then got appointed. It might have been only a couple of weeks.
Yep.
But it is very interesting. A lot of the stuff that he says as a coach then, it was after he won the Origin series, but very interesting. I listened back to it the other day when I was about to play this prelim. But you and Madge go back quite a long time. Like you've known him since what? When you were helping out Melbourne with their attack in 2005?
Bellyache asked myself and Madge were Bellyache's assistants with the country Origin side in 2005. And then actually the year before that, I went down and did a couple of sessions with Todd Carney when he was a young player coming through at Canberra when Madge was assistant there.
Yeah.
And then he told Bellyache to get me on board for country, and then went to Bellyache and said, mate, get Matty on board for Melbourne. So myself, Madge, and Steve Kearney, we were underneath Bellyache in that era, 2006, 7, 8, and 9 at
Salary
Melbourne
cap.
Storm. Yeah. That's right. I was to blame. Yeah, that's right. My $100 a day really just blew the cap apart. But we were, and then he went to South Sydney and used to bring the South Sydney boys over here. You were there a few times with them. And so I've had a long association with Madge. And it's a funny story. Like, it's funny to see him and Bellyache up against each other because they were really close. We in those sides, that when he was the assistant, Bellyache looked after the discipline and the defence, and Madge did the attack. They were a great combination, and but I do have a funny story. Can I, Matt Rasman? Would you like to hear? Can I share with you a funny story?
Absolutely.
Right.
Go ahead.
So, 2009.
He'd be angry if you didn't.
They lost when they lost that grand final 40-0. Right?
Was that 2008?
2008.
Yeah.
So that next off-season, what they do every off-season, the Melbourne Storm, Bellyache will take his assistants away and they'll go, like they might go to Europe, go see AC Milan or Barcelona, Arsenal, whatnot. This certain year, they went to America. They had a look at the Chicago Bears and they went to Boston to see the New England Patriots. And while they're there, actually, the Red Sox won the World Series for the first time. Anyway, so on the way back through, they said, mate, we'll stop off at Collaroy at the house around the corner and we'll just sit and have a talk about how we want to attack the next year. So, yeah. So Bellyache and Madge come and stayed at the house. Well, that night I said, what do you reckon, boys? We go and have dinner and have a few beers. And Bellyache's like, oh, yeah, okay, let's go. So we're all sitting around went down to one of the pubs down here. We're having a meal. Anyway, Bellyache had about 4 or 5 beers. And as Bellyache did, very disciplined, stopped. But me and Madge just kept drinking, right? Having a great time. And Madge people say, oh, Madge is so uptight and everything. Mate, Madge has a good time. Lets his hair down. So we're drinking, having a bit. And anyway, me and Madge, by the time we get back to the house, mate, we pretty much got a shine on.
Well hydrated.
And it's probably about 12:30 and Madge goes, hey, Matty, how about we go into the city? And I went, oh, Madge, that's probably a bad idea. Trish won't let me, number one. But, it's Tuesday night. Anyway, okay. So we convince Madge to go to bed. 3 o'clock in the morning, Trish goes, oh my God, someone's broken into the house. There's someone walking around the house. And everything. So we get up and it's Madge, right? Madge is dressed in his going out gear and that. And he goes, so yeah, boys, hey, Matty, mate, I'm going to call a cab. We're going into the city. And I was like, fucking Madge, it's 3 a.m. So me and Trish wrestle him back to bed, put him in bed every hour. He just keeps getting
up. He's like a baby.
Mate, he was.
Like a newborn baby.
So he lets his hair down. But yeah, we had a long association.
Did you make him sleep in the garage as well? Or
no. That's just for special people.
That's just for you. Yeah. How do you see this game, right? Like Broncos Storm, probably very similar to that Broncos Penrith outfit where I see Broncos as, well, I see Melbourne as, you know what you're going to get from Melbourne?
Yep.
Very, not predictable, but very methodical with what they're going to do. You know what you're going to face, what they're going to throw at you. Whereas Broncos are the polar opposite. I see them as so unpredictable. Like Melbourne would, during this week, sort of be looking at tendencies of individuals, but you don't know exactly what you're going to get from this Broncos outfit.
You don't. And I think Reece Welch typifies that too, and oftentimes people, I don't like the saying necessarily, rocks or diamonds. Well, 99% of the stuff he's been doing in the last month has been diamonds.
Yeah.
Right. But that's the very nature of the way the Broncos play and how they can be hit and miss is very much, it's very similar to Reece. The Broncos, yes, have more unpredictability. The Broncos also, but one thing they can do, mate, they can really raise the tempo of a contest.
Yeah.
And a lot of that's got to do with Reece. But some of the blokes who don't get enough credit are the wingers.
Josiah,
Karapani
and Dean
Mariner. They've been tremendous, those two blokes.
They're gone.
And they really, mate, their plays 2 and 3 have been really good and really helped Haas out enormously. But they can raise the tempo of the game. One thing about the Broncos, Coops, is that they've had some key players out for a while, but the players who returned last week I thought were good. Xavier Willison in particular, I thought was very, very good. He's going to be a key man. He'll be even better second outing. I thought Adam Renault was rusty. Yeah. I thought he was rusty, as you would expect him to be, but that'll give him enormous confidence. That kick from the sideline is good. That might just sit at the front of his scrapbook. Yeah. That was a beauty.
It's funny, Ben Hunt and Adam Reynolds, they combined age of 70. This is the oldest ever halves pairing in a grand final.
Yeah, well, and the other bloke coming off at 14. He'll be better for
Ezra.
Second Ezra. And if it's a fast tempo and Broncos have a period of line share possession, if Ezra comes onto the field, he and Walsh could be the blokes that win the game for the Broncos.
Yeah.
But you're right about Benny Hunt. Benny Hunt is another bloke that hasn't been given enough credit on last week's win. He did a couple of really clever things with his kicking game, shaping to go one way and going the other, just little things that you don't necessarily notice, but
nearly kicked a 40-20 too.
He did.
Yeah. I want to get our predictions, but before we go to that, let's pick an individual who on both sides,
Yep.
who do you see as the most important one? Because I look at Melbourne, and there's a lot of Storm spine players that you can pick as the X factor, but I think Jerome Hughes is their key man for this week. I know, given everything he's going through with his forearm, but that left edge of the Broncos were put under a lot of pressure last week. Alamotti scored a couple tries on him. I think that's the edge that Melbourne would want to go at. They got found out a lot on that side, and I think Hughes is probably the bloke that's going to get a lot of the footy to put pressure on him.
Coop, I think the key man, and stating the obvious here, but the men who could tear the Broncos another one is going to be their spine players. Because like we said last week about the Melbourne Storm, you could put a hula hoop over the four spine players when they're just charging through the middle of the field. Yeah. They work as a perfect combination, the four of them.
Yeah.
And if the Broncos are a little tired and start to fatigue, the first area you're going to see the fatigue are the blokes in the middle. And if that is the case and they start to struggle, then they will just blow them open. I'm not going to give my tip for Clive Churchill yet, but there's someone that I think is a special for it. But those four blokes are key. You know, Harry, of course, with his leadership and just ability to get out and around the rucks and vary the go forward is really important. Munster still is the best big game player in the game, and last week he was just sensational. Madge will spend a hell of a lot of time focusing on Munster, but how do you plan for a bloke so unorthodox and who just reacts to visual opportunity?
Yeah, I think the only thing you can really do is, and it'll be on both sides because they've both got players who are unbelievable off the back of quick play the balls, and that's when they want to get the footy. Munster's one of them. All Broncos can do is try to limit how many opportunities they get off quick play the balls.
Yeah.
And that's with their defence, we're slowing the ruck down as much as possible. You're not going to get that all the time. You can't control that for the whole of 80 minutes. But when Munster does get the footy, the way you stop him is just two things that are his biggest strengths. His big left foot step and his fend.
Yeah.
They're the two things that the back rowers and the middles will have to be practicing defensively.
And Coop, for the Broncos, Reece is such a vital bloke because if there's one area that I think Beliak will have real concerns about Melbourne is their left side defence. Cronulla found them out twice. The first time was Katoa scored their first try where they all just rushed in and they caught him out. The second time was there was lack of communication, and Munster was actually backing off. You could hear him sort of, come on, guys, what's going on here? And they put Billy Burns straight through. That's where they'll go. Madge will go there relentlessly. He will target Jack Howarth.
Yeah.
Right? And Katoni Staggs is on Jack. This is a massive challenge for Jack Howarth.
I think it's a big game for him. I think he'll be doing
Carrigan's a big man coming in as well.
Yeah.
That's a huge in for the Broncos.
Yeah, they'll be doing a lot of work that left edge definitely, and I think the job for Melbourne, their big job. Obviously, there's a lot of threats, but I think it all starts with Payne Haas for them. He gets so much ruck speed, quick play of the ball. I think you're going to see, and our back fences will be able to have a watch of this game. Watch the role of Melbourne's markers. Watch how hard they work for a marker to push Haas sideways and get into his legs, because that's when you got a big dominant front rower who's quick. You want to limit his time to wind up and get into the line, and the way you do that is you watch their markers just getting out hard and diving straight into his legs.
Well, that was the Taumalolo rule. In 2017, when Jason Taumalolo, no one could stop his yardage, going into the 2017 Grand Final, Craig came up with the Taumalolo rule in the fact that first marker, get out quick and just chop at his legs. And big men hate being tackled low. In a gauge where these days everyone, first man's tackle over the ball, mate, people, the big blokes, hate being hit around the legs from side on.
Yeah. Well, and people say always, why didn't you go legs on him? It's easier said than done because you got to wrestle them and slow the play. If you only tackle legs, it's very easy to attack. Like they'll just get quick play the balls. You'll be on the back foot the whole time. But there is an art of your markers getting out and getting to the legs almost as they're hitting the line. So your defenders can sort of just catch them and put them straight on their back. So I have no doubt they'll be doing that. Let's get our predictions then. Who wins and who's your back fence player of the match, a.k.a. Clive Churchill?
Coop, I like Melbourne on the back of they've just got so many players who have played in these type of games, these really big games, and not just played in them, but had success in them.
Yeah.
Won tight games, blown teams away. They've got many, many ways they can win a football game, but on the back coop of, again, I don't want to sound like a broken record, but the Broncos, the big Broncos men in the middle, I do expect them to start to fade, and if they do fade in the middle, then the Storm spine are just going to blow them to bits. So I've gone Melbourne Storm to win. I'm going to say Melbourne Storm. I'll say Melbourne Storm by 4 points, but it could blow out. I don't know. I'm gonna give Brisbane the respect they deserve and say Melbourne by 4.
All right, but let's get who wins and your back fence player of the match. Let's just get that.
Okay.
We don't need the explanation.
Okay, my back fence player is sent forward. Who's going to charge?
Back fence player of the match is your Clive Churchill.
Oh, Clive
I
Churchill.
just said before. Do you listen? Do you listen? You really don't.
Talk to your mother. I don't listen. I go Melbourne by 4, and I go Ryan Pappenhausen as a special for my Clive Churchill medal.
All right, beautiful. Razman, you got what?
I'm going to go for the Broncos. I think they've been the funnest team to watch.
They have been terrific.
So they deserve it, and I don't think. I think they match Melbourne's spine, but then they've also got the X factor on the edges, and that's why I'm going Katoni Staggs for Clive Churchill.
Jeez, he's had a year, hasn't he?
Jeez, he'd be good to win. That'd be a good year for him. I've got Storm. I think that 9 days, and I think they're going to be just a little bit fresher than the Broncos after how many big games they're playing in. And then I've got our man, back fence player of the match, Harry Grant.
Harry,
I think
shock. Absolute shock.
What did you just say?
I said a shock.
Because you are the rabbit's foot.
Allegedly.
Are you going into camp in any way, shape, or form?
Don't know. I'll have a chat with Craig and I'll see what he wants.
Yeah.
You know, he said he's got a futon in his room that they've set up, so he said I can stay there.
You can borrow Razman's roll-out bed.
Yeah, that'd be handy.
Hey, by the way, Razman, you've got the Craig Bellamy's Beetlejuice jacket on.
Well, yeah, we haven't even acknowledged that.
Yeah. Same size as Bellyache, which is nice.
Yeah.
Might keep this one.
Yeah.
It gets cold in the garage. So
you obviously have a better dental plan. So,
well, we have got the suits on. We have got the blazers on today because when this comes out, it's Dally M night tonight. So we are going to go through some of the awards and give our predictions for it. First of all, starting off with the big one, obviously, the Player of the Year, Dally M Player of the Year.
I thought we were going to do our personal Player of the Year, our personal awards. But that's right. You can do your. I thought personal.
I thought it was who you thought deserved it.
What's personal?
So I thought it was going to be the Backstage Awards, meaning each of us decide who has been the best player.
Obviously, Teddy's going to be Dally M, but. You might think Payne Haas or someone.
It's your prediction for Player of the Year. It's your Player of the Year.
My Player of the Year is Payne Haas.
Okay, yeah,
it's been remarkable.
Yeah,
boys.
Mine's Payne Haas too. So there you go.
I had Teddy. I did actually have James Tedesco. I think it's always a dampener when the Dally M's comes in finals time and you've watched some of the players in finals and you go, and then you get to the awards night and you go, how didn't they win an award? But then you remember there's 27 other games.
Yeah, recency. What do they say?
Recency bias.
That's it.
Yeah.
You got it.
It's almost like you'd want them to do Dally M's almost straight after the season because then there's not a dampener on some of those players.
And I see Teddy's pulled out of the Ashes.
Yeah.
For his brother, his best man, brother. Like people say, oh, good on him. It's his brother's wedding. Oh man, family first, poo.
Nah, I'm with him. I reckon Teddy would have a little bit of, you know what? You guys have taken me out of the rep sides before. Screw everyone.
Oh, controversy.
I like it. All right, what about our coach? Who's our coach?
Michael Maguire.
You've gone Madge?
I was Ricky all year, but look at Madge has had to go through
finals, yeah.
And he got a lot of controversy, put up a lot of stuff, and he's got him to the grand final.
Razzle?
Ricky. Yeah, they were meant to be tipped favourites for the wooden spoon. So
yeah, I had Ricky as well. I think if finals comes into it, I probably go Madge, given what he's turned this side into. But Ricky's turned a side that probably should have won the wooden spoon on paper, and a lot of people were tipping him to win the wooden spoon, and then gets him to first. It's a pretty good job.
I'm hearing that Ethan Strange is on the plane. That's what I'm hearing. There's 23-man. There was 22-man squad. Peter V'landys come out and said, no, there's going to be 23. And word is, it was for Ethan Strange, a young player
Ashes.
To go away. Yeah, for the Ashes. Sorry,
yeah. I was thinking he's on the plane. Where's he going?
Bali.
Yeah. All right, and then
Love Cooter.
Let's go through our team of the year then.
Okay.
All right, everyone. Who's your fullback?
Tedesco.
You got Tedesco.
Yeah.
I had Tedesco as well.
Yeah, I was going to go Tedesco, but I just thought I go AJ Brimson for this one.
Oh, mate,
I could have picked him for centre or 5'8" as well.
Why
So I
don't
just
you marry him? Feeding.
I would if I could.
Get Teddy as best man.
Yeah, I reckon there'll be a few Titans players in there for Raz. Who are your wingers, Big M?
Ronaldo Mulatalo and Mark Nwanga-Nisawase.
Oh, yeah. Red hot. I don't even think Ronaldo's nominated. He might have been ruled out because of suspension. I don't know, but I didn't see him on the list. But I had Xavier Coates and Mark Nwanga-Nisawase. I think there's been some red hot wingers this year.
Sure has.
Raz?
Yeah, I went the same as you, Coop.
Yeah,
I think pretty standard.
Centers?
Katoni Staggs and Stephen Crichton.
I actually had the exact same. Yeah. I wanted to put Herbie in there somewhere, Herbie Farnworth. I thought he had a great... He's
incredible.
Such a good year in a side that probably doesn't have as many stars, but... just had a couple injuries.
Special mention to Seb Chris too. I thought he had a great season.
Yeah, he is. And Timoko.
Rasman.
I don't know how you guys are going past Herbie. I think up until he got injured, he was by far the best centre.
Don't shitcan everyone else's choices.
Yeah, well, I will.
Right.
And then the other one was Katoni Staggs.
Yeah. What about your halves? Let's get 5'8" and halfback.
5'8" was temptation with Ethan Strange, but I've got to go Munster. He's just so good. He's the standout 6, and I've gone Isaiah Katoa just ahead of Nathan.
Yeah, I'm sort of with you. I had Ethan Strange as my 6 and Isaiah Katoa as my 7. I just think Munster had a great year, particularly at Origin level. I think that was his best Origin he's had in a long time. But Ethan Strange's, I think his club season was probably a little bit better. Razman.
Yeah, although I was tempted to pick Kieran Foran and Jaden Campbell, I went for Cam Munster and Izzy Katoa.
Oh, yep. With your front row, who's your 8 and your 10? The two big front rows.
Joseph Tarpany and Payne Haas.
Oh, yeah,
straightforward for me.
I had Payne Haas and Terrell May, the bumbag man.
Oh, yeah.
I thought Terrell May in that Tigers side did a good job.
I listened to him and Taylor, their May Day the other day. I had listened to it.
Oh, yeah.
With interview with Benji. Excellent.
Was it good?
Yeah, it's really good.
We'll have to get him on. Razman.
I went for Payne Haas, and you can guess the other one if you want.
Tino.
Big Tino. There you go.
Yep.
Geez, so many.
You're loyal to a fault.
You are. Yeah. Who's your hooker?
My hooker is Harry Grant.
Yeah, I didn't actually have Harry in my... I had Blake Brayley in my... But I was going off the Dally M rules because Harry was rubbed out.
Fair call.
For unfortunately doing not much. But anyway, that rule needs to be amended.
Filthy player.
Hooker?
Yeah, Harry.
You had Harry Houdini as well?
Harry Houdini.
Who's your back rowers? Because this is a red-hot field, this one.
Yeah, I've gone Hudson Young and Eli Katoa.
I'm with you. I think they have been unbelievable, those two.
They have.
Excellent. Yeah. Two blokes you'd want to date your daughter.
I don't know Ellie, but I'll be happy with Hudson. But
sure.
I don't know. I've never met Ellie.
Raz?
I went for Katoa as well, but then I went Leka Halasima.
Good choice. Yeah. Good choice.
Excellent.
And probably rookie of the year, I imagine.
He'll be rookie of the year.
He's got to be. Yeah, I mean, it's Robert Toyer and him and someone else.
Leka's phenomenal.
Yeah. Who's your lock?
Isaiah.
See, I've gone Aaron Clark.
Oh yeah,
I thought Aaron Clark had a great year.
He did have a great year
in a Warriors side that were depleted by people leaving. They still managed to get in the top 8, and they fought amicably, but they had too many injuries.
Jeez, I'd love to see him win a comp next couple of years.
Oh, I'd be
Metcalf
sick.
coming back in. I'd love to see it.
Great for the game of rugby league. Raz,
I agree with you, Coop. The dove that the Titans let go. Now he's I don't know what the word is.
Oh yeah.
He's gotten better.
The dove in full bloom.
He's seen his full potential.
He's realised his potential. His potential is blooming.
Cherry blossom. What about personality of the year? This is more of a backstage award.
I was tempted to go Brian Toto, but Reece Walsh. Got to be sweet Reece.
Mate, I'm with you. Any bloke that can drink from a toilet that he's installed himself.
Sober.
Yeah, I am 100% with you. And he did something else that got caught in the headlines this year as well. I'm trying to remember. He did something else other than drinking in the toilet. But he's
also, the punch. Remember the punch in the head?
Yeah. He released...
the boxing glove.
Yeah. Punched his mate in the head.
I love it. I just loved one of my favourite moments this year was with the toilet water, and the Broncos put out a statement saying to their fans, listen, don't drink toilet water. Guys, you probably should give your fans a little bit more credit.
I know. Who was yours, Raz?
Hard to go past Reece Walsh. He's just made the game fun again, I think.
Sure has.
It's good to see Buzz and all the other journos just like hating life when they're talking about him. They can't do anything right.
I know it is. It's nice to see like somebody who, because the game we have it in the past sometimes really like want characters and then hate people who become a stereotype. So Reece comes out and goes, well, I'm just going to be myself. And then you really divides the camp. Some people go, no, he's too much. Some people are going, I actually like that he's an individual. I love to see him just be himself.
Yeah, I love it.
You know, drinking toilet water, who cares?
Yeah.
Journo of the year.
You know my thoughts. I'm going Bulldog Richie. On Tuesday nights, Rasman, when I sit there and I go, please be Bulldog, and I go, and we've got the journos in, we've got Mike Carianis and Bulldog Richie. I go, boys, doggy time.
Yeah.
Mate, Gordon told he told Doggy, he said, mate, the Johns family, when you're on, they froth. They all said, and mate, he said Bulldog was like, really? And he said, what do they love? And he said, mate, love your jokes and, you know, and some of your headlines. So he now just plays it up all the time and says to Gordon after it, have you heard anything from Matty? He's some of his stuff this year on Mary Fowler and Nathan. Oh, he's obsessed.
Yeah, he's obsessed with love. I don't know what's going on. I actually had him scratched for my awards, like the equivalent of players getting scratched for suspension. I scratched Bulldog for his article he wrote about Joey, which I thought was in really bad taste. So he's eliminated from mine. I actually went Brent Reed. The Reed man.
Reed's a great man.
Reed Meister. Yeah. I mean, it's tough between him and Buzz. Between those two dribblers, it's very hard to pick.
Oh, mate.
I went Reedy. Who's yours, Raz?
Honestly, when I saw this one, I couldn't even think of anyone, to be honest. I'm just indifferent. I'm indifferent to all the journos, and they're not like I don't have an opinion, so I'd just be making something up for the sake of it.
Well, you know what, and that's why we love you, Raz, because you're authentic and you're just who you are.
You're honest to a fault.
Yeah. Well, guys, that's it. That's us.
It's a wrap.
That's our Dally M Awards.
That is.
And this is our last preview. It's sad.
It is.
I almost don't want it to end.
And letting you know, too, we'll just throw a bone for a fellow podcasters, the Hello Sport Boys. On Sunday, they're doing a live podcast at the Manly Stain on Grand Final Day. I'm going to go in for about 30 minutes appearance. So come down there and say, hey, y'all.
And someone count how many schooners you consume in 30 minutes?
Oh, mate, if they're free, I will inhale them.
You'd hope they're free.
Yeah.
They'd have to be.
Surely.
Surely. To get you there, geez, they must be free. Free alcohols and a lot of money is the only thing that usually gets you there.
Where are you going to?
One or the other.
Where are you going to watch the game there, or are you just going to go?
No, I'm going to come back here and watch the game.
I'm
really focused.
I'm out there. I got to go out to the game for some stuff. Right. I know. Well, you know, I love watching it at home. I mean, I'm not complaining going out. Well, I am in a way, but got a bit of work out there. But it is good atmosphere out there.
Where are you, Raz? Razzle Dazzle?
I'm actually going to a techno day event from 2 until like 6, and then we'll leave that and go to a pub somewhere in the.
Really?
Yeah, it's at Watson's Bay.
Yeah. Don't take drugs.
So if anyone sees me, don't
take drugs. Okay?
No, I won't.
Yeah, because those young people at techno shows, I know what happens.
What's it called, Raz?
Sash by Day.
Sash by Day. So everyone keep an eye out. If we got any listeners who are going to Sash by Day, message the Backstage Instagram. We'll put you in touch with Raz.
Yeah. Razzle Dazzle.
Some might, who knows? Might not even remember the game.
Oh, man, the best team win.
Yeah.